I just really have no words to describe of anything that Nickelodeon has done over the years. And I completely give up on Nickelodeon a long, long time ago. Oh my god, it's... Now, I know I didn't celebrate Stephen Hilbrook's legacy by making a video involving around his works, but when he passed away, but to be quite honest, I really didn't need to. I mean, I do respect the fact and felt ashamed that he passed away, and I think that the future of SpongeBob would have been better off being over with, but with this information that I just noticed, oh my god, I can't believe this is the first time I'm ever doing a rant on Nickelodeon. It's just really bizarre for me to actually do something like this. You know that there's no music in the background because of how serious this is. This is one of the reasons why I completely give up SpongeBob, and then Nickelodeon did something really stupid and also completely disrespectful following Hilberg's death. Okay, it's revealed that SpongeBob is getting the prequel Camp Coral is coming to Nick. And it's going to be a prequel to the SpongeBob show. Now, let me just get this out of the way, that having a spin-off series in SpongeBob SquarePants, I don't think really needs one, to be quite honest. Mainly because SpongeBob doesn't really need spin-off series, because just by watching the show for about 20 long years, I don't think that the show, even if it continued after the movie, the first movie, didn't really need a spin-off series whatsoever. But after reading the information of this from Pie Guy War's video involving this subject, he is completely right. And I'm not making this up. Nickelodeon is a terrible company. It's worse than Disney Channel, and it's worse than Cartoon Network. SpongeBob is basically the only cartoon that Nickelodeon can make more money off of, because it's literally the only cartoon from the 90s that is still going on even to this day. And I really got a feeling that they're still going to continue the show no matter what. And what I mean by that is, oh my god. I'm not saying that the other cartoons or live action material on Nickelodeon is unwatchable. In fact, they're unwatchable, but I'm not being disrespectful to the Loud House series because I'm not a fan of it. But this is just further proof that Nickelodeon just can't come up with original ideas anymore. They just can't. I mean, it just really makes me sick to actually think that they're going to make a spin-off series involving SpongeBob. What I mean by that is because Steven Hilberg made rules about SpongeBob, and one of the biggest rules that he has involving SpongeBob is that there's no spin-off series. Because the world of SpongeBob and SpongeBob itself is basically enough, and it has the elements of what SpongeBob needs to be. And besides, with a spin-off series involving SpongeBob being 10 years old in the Camp Coral setting, oh my god, that doesn't really fit. And people say that that Camp Lazlo is a rip-off of SpongeBob. And Nick did the other way around. 11 years after Camp Lazlo completely came to an end. Okay, let's get into the elephant in the room, and that's when Paul Timmick commented about this. I do not mean any disrespect to my colleagues who are working on this show. They are good people and talented artists, but this is some greedy, lazy executing right here. And they all know full well Steve would have hated this. Shame on them. Now, Paul Tippin was the person who completely continued SpongeBob after the first movie, and that's during the time when Steven Hillenburg left after the first movie. And to be quite honest, I understand that he's mostly responsible with the terrible episodes that seasons 4 through 9 has to offer, but it's probably the other writers. Now, I'm not sure why Polytipid allows some of the episodes that are acceptable for Nickelodeon, but but after watching his tweet from a week ago, I can guarantee you that he completely thinks that Nickelodeon is basically just crapping on everything that Steven Hillenburg has stood up for. And I'm not talking about, the ideals that they did after Steven Hillenburg left. I mean, the image that he made for SpongeBob. Now, I will admit, when I got older, I really didn't like any of the things that he did, but at least I tried to respect what Steven Hillenburg was trying to do. SpongeBob is basically something that he didn't think was going to be a phenomenon, being the second best cartoon behind, like, Rugrats. And I didn't think that it would ever came to a point that people were begging for the show to continue after the first movie. Now, in my vision, I just think that SpongeBob is better off with 3 seasons and 1 movie. If you want to know information about that, watch my Sponge Out of Water review. You might understand. But my point is that I think that the rules and limits that Steven Hillenburg has for his vision of SpongeBob is something that I can easily accept for the fact that he made all this come true and he didn't think that this cartoon would become a phenomenon. However, I won't change the fact that after he left, Nickelodeon just completely took over everything to the point this image alone really goes to show that Nickelodeon is truly Mr. Krabs. It really does. And I really think that at this point, Nickelodeon doesn't even care about kids or anything about the network. I mean, they did in the 1990s and in the early 2000s, but after the 2000, but during the late 2000s and in this decade, they really didn't make a lot of good decisions. Yes, they did have some good shows, but they all fade away when they completely made terrible decisions, whipping off cartoons, if you pretty much know what I'm talking about, and the ideals that they couldn't able to come up with involving SpongeBob. Instead of keeping SpongeBob its own thing, they made Camp Coral. And my prediction is that Camp Coral is gonna be like post-movie SpongeBob. I'm not kidding. I don't know if this is true, but considering the fact that SpongeBob is gonna be 10 years old and it's going to be a CGI film, CGI series, I can guarantee you that they're probably going to make their own post-movie SpongeBob spin-off, which I think that Steven Hillenburg actually won't accept. Here's something that I'm really fed up with Nickelodeon. They really don't even know. They just don't care about anything. I mean, the criticism that they probably receive from so many fans of SpongeBob being a terrible show because of the episodes that this show had to offer. And you pretty much know what I'm talking about. My top 25 worst SpongeBob episodes, despite being outdated, it still goes to prove that SpongeBob had terrible episodes that really ruined the show and the character's reputation. The fact that Brian Robbins is the president of Nickelodeon and is making all these decisions, you can tell that SpongeBob should have never continued in the first place. And the fact that if Steven Hillenburg stayed, then maybe he would put a lot more effort. But when he left, Nickelodeon doesn't care about love or anything, and all it cares about money. This is one of the reasons why I barely look at SpongeBob the same way ever again. I mean, the last episode that I watched from the show was the space episode. Well, SpongeBob and poor Sandy Squidward go to the moon or something, and I really didn't enjoy it because it's just basically your average SpongeBob episode. Come and go for 22 minutes. I mean, sure, the show has gone better, but really, I just don't think that I really need to waste my time into watching SpongeBob again, nor am I completely interested in Camp Coral. I'm not saying this because I disrespect Stephen Hilbert, because I do respect him and I can understand what he went through in the first 3 seasons in the first movie that he made. But at the same time, you can tell that his vision after the first movie, was never meant to be. I mean, sure, he was probably okay with it at first, but if he was still alive then and Nickelodeon made this decision, he would probably cancel SpongeBob and Camp Cola as a fact. And this would have been the only way that Nickelodeon will go out of business. But it won't be a chance whatsoever. And besides, what else can I even look at SpongeBob like I did in the past? I just think that for what Nickelodeon has been using SpongeBob, and it's the only Nicktoon that kids completely watch to this day, and people like Pie Guy Wars are getting sick of SpongeBob because it's always the main attraction for Nickelodeon. Why do I need to bother to watch the show again? Just why? Nickelodeon is just using this show to have little kids watch it because it's the main thing that you can enjoy on Nickelodeon. In a minute. Game Shakers, Henry Danger, The Adventures of Henry Danger, despite the Loud House, SpongeBob is literally the only show that people cared about Nickelodeon, which is really sad. I just don't think that Nickelodeon has any other option to continue afterwards. Yes, I did watch Nickelodeon a lot, but this is just so unreal. Nickelodeon has made so many controversial decisions in the past, but this easily tops everything. It really does. I just don't have anything to describe of why Nickelodeon and the president Brian Robbins would easily think that this would be acceptable. And I just don't understand why the writers and artists would easily continue on making SpongeBob and doing the Camp Cola spinoff. Yes, they love SpongeBob. I can understand the passion on making episodes. But at the same time, what's the point after seeing the information that Nickelodeon is just crapping on Steven's vision of SpongeBob? They did that after he left, and when he passed away, they decided to do it for a second round. Except that I think that this one might be worse, because I really don't think that Camp Coral would be a really interesting show, since it's just basically SpongeBob in a camp with CGI. Oh my god. Do I really need to say anything more? If any of you were expecting me to do reactions and reviews of SpongeBob material, you watch this entire video and you need to understand that I'm completely given up on SpongeBob and I'm pretty much moved on. There's really nothing else I can really find redeemable of this. Sure, I can respect and forgive Paul Tippin's ideas of what he did and the fact that he was being respectful to Steven Hilberg because they're close friends. But when I look at the president of Nickelodeon and the decision that he made, my god. I mean, the only thing that it's gonna come out good at this is that SpongeBob's Battle for Bikini Bottom video game is gonna get a remake sooner eventually. But that's about it. Other than that, Nickelodeon needs to die. I know people repeatedly say that so many times in the past, but this takes the cake. At this point, Nickelodeon needs to go out of business, but I highly doubt it will ever happen. I mean, they're probably going to keep continuing doing so many greedy decisions that they would never go out of business, because with SpongeBob being their main attractive, I highly doubt that they will ever come out of business. But I'm pretty sure that me, Pie Guy Wars, and other people who watched Nickelodeon in the past will never work for Nickelodeon. Seriously. That's just how terrible Nickelodeon is. I will go on and discuss of how they completely canceled the Very Odd Parents 2 years ago because of the decisions, but SpongeBob, my God. SpongeBob is just basically the moneymaker and the only moneymaker to stay relevant. I really got nothing else to say. I really don't. Sorry there was no music in the background, but whenever there's no music in the background, that goes to show that I really cannot stand Nickelodeon and SpongeBob anymore. If any of you guys are going to comment on to why, if you guys are going to comment down on for me to review SpongeBob material, please don't. Just please. I did one reaction on one SpongeBob material, and I didn't enjoy it afterwards. Just don't take this seriously. I have changed a lot, and SpongeBob is just basically Nickelodeon's way of staying relevant, and that's that. And Camp Cola being the spin-off series, which is crapping on Steven Hillenburg's vision of SpongeBob, I honestly don't think that Nickelodeon can go any lower than this. I'll see you next time.